Spain, 1936. There is an active war in the country between the Reds and the Whites. One day a little girl walks down the street and finds a maze. There lives a magical creature named Fawn. Who is this guy? What does he want? Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Fox. And today I will tell you the plot of the film, Maze, Fawn. The film begins with Ophelia riding in a car with her mother. They head to the general. This is the girl's new stepfather. Her own father died in the war. The mother feels bad and they go outside. The girl looks around and comes across a stone eye. She then inserts it into the figurine. And then a strange beetle crawls out from there, which will haunt her throughout the entire film. Our heroes return to the car and approach the general. Welcome. The girl sees this beetle again. She ran after him. And then I came across a labyrinth. She has not been there yet. Ophelia returned home and went to bed. And then she heard a strong grinding sound, which made the girl's ears hurt. This is the same beetle she saw recently. You are a fairy. The girl thought it was a fairy. After her words, the beetle really turned into some kind of fairy tale creature. And then the creature led her back into that labyrinth. When Ophelia went inside, she met a large monster there. And after she asked his name, he introduced himself. Fawn. He told the girl that she was the princess of the underworld. And this labyrinth is the gateway to this world. And to get there, you need to pass 3 tests. He gave the girl a book and said that when you are alone, open it. All information will appear there. Fawn disappeared. Ophelia opened the book, but there was nothing there except empty pages. Meanwhile, the girl's stepfather caught some guys. He thinks they are partisans. This is all because of the weapons that were found on them. We found a gun on him. The guy said that it was his father. He was not a partisan. He was just hunting rabbits. But the man did not believe these words and began to kill the child. All this happened in front of my father's eyes. The general killed the dude and then shot his father. A couple of minutes later, one of the privates brought rabbits to the general. He said he found them in the ghost bag. The general just killed 2 innocent people because of his paranoia. Later he brought rabbits into the house, and as if nothing had happened, he asked the maid to prepare them. Make these bunnies for dinner. In the morning, Ophelia returned home. Her mother has a complication during pregnancy. She rides in a wheelchair and takes medication. The mother told the girl that the general was hosting a dinner, and in honor of this, she gave the girl a dress that she sewed herself. Ophelia went to the bathroom. She locked herself in her room and opened the book again. This time the girl was definitely alone. The text appeared in the book. It was about an old toad that came from the underworld. She devoured people. She devoured everything that was possible on this earth. This toad lives under a magic tree. The tree rots because of the toad, and Ophelia needed to kill this monster. The girl went inside. There was a lot of dirt around. Large bugs were running around her. She heard a voice behind her. It was a toad, and she was not averse to eating people. Ophelia came up with a plan. She planted the beetle on her hand, where the stones were. And then she showed it to the toad. The monster ate this bait, and then nasty mucus began to flow out of it. He vomited. That slime held the key. The girl took it. Meanwhile, the general discovered traces of the partisans. He picked up the package, and there was little in it. Antibiotics. The general has exactly the same impulse at home. There is a traitor among his entourage. The girl came out of the tree in the middle of the night. She stained her mother's dress, which she had been sewing for a week. Morsida's nanny met her and took her home. The mother was very upset. The girl returned to the labyrinth. She met the fawn and said, "I took out the key." Fawn was very pleased. The monster did not take the key. He asked to leave him. After all, you'll need the key soon.
You'll need it soon.
When Ophelia returned home, she saw that her mother was sick. The girl opened the book and asked, "What's happening now?" There was blood in the book, a pool of blood. Ophelia was scared when she opened the door. She saw her mother, who could barely stand and was bleeding. The girl called for help. The general came with the doc, and the general told Doc to cure the woman at any cost. Cure her. at any cost and by any means. Ophelia was transferred to a separate ward. Nanny Mercedes is now looking after her. By the way, Mercedes and the doctor are traitors. Right now they are going to the partisans and bringing them burgers and medicine. Among the partisans is Mercedes' brother, and she loves him very much. My beloved brother. A small digression. The partisans in this film are good people. The general is a brutal dictator. He kills mercilessly and knows no mercy. These people are for equality. They are like Martin Luther King and they want the welfare of the entire nation. Fawn came to Ophelia at night. She told him about her mother, and Fawn gave it to the girl. If you put this root in a bowl of milk, and then drop 2 drops of blood, it can cure any disease. Later, Fawn spoke about the new task. Ophelia needed to go to the underworld. There will be a lot of food, but he forbade us to touch it. He said something like that, your life depends on it. Ophelia also received special chalk, with the help of which it was necessary to draw a door to that world. Meanwhile, Mercedes distributed the food she had brought, and Doc amputated the man's leg because the antibiotic did not help. The girl began to draw a door. All is ready. She moved the stove and went inside. A white creature was sitting at the table. He did not have eyes. The photograph showed that this monster was eating small children. And there were these children's shoes. There were a lot of shoes. Ophelia later found the castle. She inserted the key she had taken from the toad. Then she pulled out another key. The monster did not move. The girl started to return, but decided to break the rules and ate the grapes. The fairies sent by Fawn warned not to do this. As a result, the monster woke up. He looked up from the table and took them in his hands. And then he caught the fairy and bit her head, and did the same with the other. The monster ran after Ophelia, but the door closed. Death was close, but Ophelia managed to take chalk and draw a new door in the ceiling. And then somehow she managed to get out. The girl returned home. Her mother is still unwell. She took the root and put it in milk. He came to life and began to move. The girl then placed the bowl under her mother's bed. And then she dropped 2 drops of her own blood. A miracle happened. The woman is recovering. The partisans entered the captain's house. This is all because of Mercedes, who gave the key to her brother. The man decided to take revenge on the partisans. He found them and then shot them all. They also captured a prisoner. When Mercedes looked at the guy, she felt pain. The captain begins the interrogation. He took out his tools and said, the dude was doing well, but the captain knows how to torture. That's why the parents spilled the beans. The captain offered a deal. If you count to 3, you can leave. Unfortunately, he failed to count to 3 and was severely tortured. The dude died from blood loss. The captain called Doc to prevent the guy's untimely death. But the guy said, kill me, Doc. Doc gave him a lethal injection and he died suddenly. Fawn came to Ophelia. She gave him the fairy, which she gave to the girl. But as you remember, Ophelia broke the rules. 2 were eaten without salt. Fawn got angry. He said that the girl was not the chosen one, and she will never become queen of the underworld. And then he left. Meanwhile, the captain found a root that was lying under the bed. He told Ophelia that she had a wild imagination, and her mother, of course, supported him. And then he threw the root into the fireplace. It burned down, and then the woman immediately felt sick. She started bleeding and died. Only the child who belonged to the captain was saved. Doc was exposed as a traitor. The captain noticed that the impole he found with the partisans matches the one that disappeared from his house. He immediately realized that Doc was stealing them and killed him. He also suspected Mercedes. She and Ophelia decided to escape, but the captain got ahead of them and the plan did not take place. The dude then took her to the torture room. The captain was asked if he needed help and he answered, this is a woman, what she can do. Of course, he did it in vain. Mercedes hid the knife and then took it out, freed herself and began to kick the captain. She made him look like a joker with a beautiful smile. The girl ran out of the house and the bloodied captain ran after her. He ordered her to be seized. The chase began. When she was almost overtaken, the partisans suddenly jumped out, and then they shot everyone and went to the captain's house. Fawn returned to Ophelia. He said he was ready to give it one last chance. The girl hugged him, and Fawn ordered her to steal the captain's child and then bring him to the altar. Ophelia approached the captain and poured some nasty stuff into his whiskey. Then she waited until he came out and took the child. The man noticed her but was poisoned, so she ran away. Although slowly, the captain followed her trail. When Ophelia brought the child, Fawn said that he should be killed. "We need the blood of an innocent child." The girl said that she would not kill her brother, and Fawn answered, "As you wish." Then he disappeared, and behind him stood the captain, who did not see this creature during the conversation. Now you're wondering if Lee is a real Fawn, or is it a figment of the imagination of a little girl who lost her father in the war and decided to escape from reality. The man shot Ophelia and took the child. And when he was returning back, he was met by partisans. They also killed him. Merceda ran to the girl, but she was no longer breathing and could not be saved. Ophelia really went to the underworld. There she saw her father's mother on the throne, and he said, "This was the last task." The dude hinted that in order to get here, you initially had to die. And once again you wonder if everything was for real. Or is this whole movie just a figment of a girl's imagination, who loved, read fairy tales and just escape reality? Everyone will answer this question for themselves.